Plot twist, that one little chapter you wrote, it's actually a marketing.
That wasn't supposed to happen, so bear with me. I hit the wrong button. Hey, if you are in business, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to make sales. And I think I'm going to just take a stab at it that 98% of people in business hate sales. Now, if you're one of those who hate sales, drop a yeah in the chat. Or if you love sales, put love in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Sales is something that is absolutely necessary in our businesses, whether we like it or not. Some people will try to hire out and have other people do the sales for them, while others will just continue to struggle with what they're going to do with it. I myself hired somebody to do our sales for us. What I found is that their lack of connection to me and our sales and what we were selling made it really hard for them to make that sale. So sometimes we just gotta, just grin and bear it and say, I gotta make sales. I gotta put myself out there. I have to do this in order to make those sales so I can make a greater impact on the planet. They say that sales equals impact, impact equals sales. So what are you doing to get yourself out there, get your message out there in front of the right people, and then making those sales? Now, sales can seem scary because, there's this thing like you're confronting somebody and you're inviting them to buy something from you. I want you to buy from me. I want you to buy from me. But it all depends on the way you see it, the way you think about it, and the way you approach sales that is going to make the difference. Well, today we're going to bring up Jody Maley. She's going to be talking about sales, how to make sales and not make it sound so icky. So stay tuned. We'll be right back talking about sales. Let's talk about sales, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Hi, my name is Lynda Sunshine West. I'm the founder and CEO at Action Takers Publishing. Our mission is to empower 5 million women and men to share their stories with the world to make a greater impact on the planet. In addition to that, we love to bring you people who are experts in their field to come out and share their stories, their messages, how you can grow your business as well. And today we have with us one of those particular people, Jody Maley. Now, Jody has been an entrepreneur for 30 years, and she's been helping women, guiding them from the corporate world into the entrepreneurial world, doing sales. And today, her topics she's going to be covering are feeling more authentic in your sales style. Like, what does that even mean? And how do you get there? And so that you can feel confident in that sales process. Also going to be talking about how you can get more yes, please for conversions. That's definitely what we want, right? Yes, please. Yes, please. And then how the dreaded F word follow-up can be fun. So Jody, I'm excited to have you today to talk about this topic of sales because, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is something that's very important for all of us as business owners to feel comfortable with in order to be able to make those sales and not feel gross about it. I know when I was first, when I first became an entrepreneur over 10 years ago, that I felt so gross about it that I quit my business and I went back to a job. That's how bad it was for me. I would not make an offer to anyone, even if it was a $5 offer. It didn't matter the dollar amount. It was just, I couldn't make that offer. And so here I am, after more than 10 years now, and it's not so bad anymore. So Jody, thank you for coming here, and we're going to talk about sales. And I'd love for you to just like dive right in. And I know there's some fun stuff you're going to be doing with us here today, going to be showing us some great stuff, and let's dive right in. It's all to you, Jody.
Woohoo! How fun is this going to be? So I've actually, as Lynda said, been an entrepreneur for 30 years. And with one of the first businesses I was in was actually network marketing. And I was with that company for 7 years. And I like to go into stories because this is how you relate the most. And this goes along to how you feel authentic in your sales style. Because for me, I didn't actually have any teachers or trainers when I was in that business. I'm in a small little town, middle of BC, Canada, and my team was about 7 hours away from me. But what I had was their manual. And I remember going to my shows. It was home party business. And I would just open up the manual, read from the manual and be like, oh, we need to do this, this, and this. Oh, the manual now says I hand out, the pamphlets. Oh, the manual now says I hand out sales forms. And so for me, I just kind of learned by doing, right? And sometimes it wasn't always the greatest. Sometimes it was really great. And when I was in that company year 7, and by the way, I was already then had won national awards for sales awards and team awards and things like that. But what changed or what was a little bit different is then people wanted to learn from me and I didn't know how to teach them. Right. And so what came along is I was pregnant with child number 6. We're a blended family, 2 his, 2 mine, and 2 together. And I remember that I went to, and I think I shared this actually at our other VIP day that we did together. But I shared that it was a year that was filled with a lot of different things going on. And in that year, pregnant with child number 6, I had to be on bed rest. And so I wasn't able to do my business how I was doing it previously. I had to do it from bed. I had my assistants go out and do the shows and bring me in orders. But in that year, I kind of learned what personality was. And I had taken a course, and I'm a facilitator for Myers-Briggs, personality, Colby. I've done all the things. And that year, I used personality dimensions to learn my leaders. So I sent them out a little bit of a, hey, fill out this form, this quiz, let me know what you are in your sales conversations. And so when they came back to me, I was then teaching my team, who are they first? So that's number 1 of what we're discussing right now. Who are you in your sales conversations? Because guess what? We're all different personalities. We're all different shades of personality. And so I was really learning then, what do my leaders want? How do they want to be trained? And in that year, I won another national award for actually increasing my business by, I think you had to have it at 20% or something like that. And in that year, I actually increased my business by 148%.
When you were in bed?
When I was in bed for almost 6 months and not doing things traditionally. And so at the end of that year, I really took stock then of, well, what was I teaching and training that was different? Like, what did I implement that year? And it was learning this, learning my team, learning how my team wanted to do sales. Because just like you said, everybody struggles with sales conversations and they get stuck in them. They don't either know how to start the sales conversation. They don't know what to say in the middle of the sales conversation. And they certainly don't know how to close. And so by learning my leaders' sales style and who they were first and not me, right? Because nobody's a Lynda. Nobody's a Jody.
Thank God.
Right? Exactly. That's why I say to people, thank God, because of my personality, I'm a little bit much for people. And so it's a thank God, right? And when my team were trying to mimic me, when they saw me doing presentations, it would just flop for them and they weren't duplicating. And so when I learned that this was the key, is that I was actually kind of sizing out when I'm in a group of people. I love people, right? I have loved learning people and who they are right from the time I was a little kid. And by the way, it's also in my human design, which we're actually going to go a little bit more into today. And so that was number 1. Learning who you are in your authentic sales style. Because if you don't know who you are, no matter what you're trying to sell or how you're trying to sell it, it will feel inauthentic to you. And so with the 4 key personalities, so there's blue, there's authentic blue, there's resourceful orange, there's the gold personality, and then there's the greens. And so with those kind of...
Well, okay, before you go forward, so you mentioned the blue is something, the red is something, but then you just said the orange and the green. So can you tell us what each of those are again? And then I love anybody watching live or watching the replay, drop which one you feel that you are.
That you feel you are. Yeah. So there's the authentic blue.
And what does that mean? Can you expound on that just a little bit?
So an authentic blue would be the type of personality that they actually don't like money conversations. This is one of the core groups out of the 4 that having a money conversation for a blue is super, super hard. So they're the people. They're the hostess with the mostest. They love having people come in, making sure everybody feels really secure in the room. Okay. However, when it comes to a sales conversation, they usually go blah, 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 don't even say what they're selling. They don't feel authentic about it because they're more interested in cultivating relationships than they are in actually the sales conversation. But there is a way for blues to be highly successful. And for them, it's building a community, which you've done.
I'm very blue.
I kind of feel you're a blue.
I'm a blue. There's this different structure that I haven't, like, you'll talk about these in just a minute, but this different structure I was involved in, like it was a blue, red, and red was more, I'll say like the shark, they go in for the attack kind of thing. I just kind of to easily put it, but I'm working on becoming pink, which would be, purple, blue and red, right? So I'm a blue, but I'm incorporating red in, and it's been a challenge.
Right. And so in ours, we don't have the red. We have orange, which is called resourceful orange. Okay. And the resourceful orange would be considered, because I think it's like Colby testing or like other ones that have the red, but this is what the orange personality would be. So they're resourceful orange. They are the highly integrated salesperson. They know how to have fun with sales, and they're probably mostly multi-passionate too. And by the way, I'm all orange. Like on the test, I don't even have any of the other colors close to me. I'm orange, orange, which means that I'm also a problem thinker, like problem solver, out of the box thinker. I like to move quickly, that if you tell me the A to Z, I'll go A, G, Z. Like I'll find the quickest solution to it. I kind of find that Steve Jobs hires a lot of these orange personalities. And when he used to say to people, they're like, how do I get a job with you? Who do I hire? Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I hire the most lazy people. And they're like, what? And he goes, I found with this group of people that what they'll do is they will find the quickest solution so they can go out and play. That's me. And so people do kind of think of, well, what do you do all day? Because it doesn't seem like I do a lot of work, but I can do more in a concentrated half hour than most people do in 3 days. And I do that on purpose so that I can
that way too. Okay. I think I'm just a mixture.
Play. Right?
Well, that's the problem, is I don't go play. I just keep working. So that's.
And then that comes into the other color, which is called an organized gold. So a gold personality is very structured. They like everything in a row. They like to make lists, and they do a lot of their day by their lists. And then they need a little bit of encouragement to go out and play. Don't start a new list. Just do what's on your task list, get through it, and then go to the next thing. They're also the people who are very time wise. And so we want to make sure that when we start at 9 o'clock for the gold, we start at 9 o'clock. Right?
Oh my God, I'm so gold too. I'm all of them. I'm telling you, I'm a rainbow.
Exactly. And a lot of people, and this is what is nice with personality dimensions, is with personality dimensions, you are a blend of all the colors. However, when we talk about human design, which I'm also going to talk about here too, human design is based on your DNA. And you don't have to do a quiz for it. I just need to know your time of birth, where you're born, and the exact time, because it's all DNA'd, okay? Which is another model that I've been using for 4 years, and it just gives such a deeper yumminess to this. And then we have the green. And so the green personality, I'm trying to think of, I'm not green, but they're the sciencey type people. So
like the researcher kind of like?
Yeah, they're the researchers. My husband is actually green, and very high green, and I'm very high orange. We're opposite. Yeah. And so they're the researchers. They're the people who need to know the why of everything. Why are you doing it that way? And they need to know the bigger picture before they can jump in. And so I will briefly say that with each of these colors of the population, only 15% of the population are oranges. And of course, everybody wants an orange on their team because we're the closers, we're the sellers. We love commission sales. That kind of thing appeals to us.
Interesting. Okay.
We're not so great in a job because we feel stifled and we can't use our creative genius. 65% of the population is actually a blend of blue and gold. And I say a blend because on our stats that come in, sometimes that blue can be higher and sometimes that gold, but they're 65%. And it fluctuates. And then the other 20% of the population, if I did this correctly, is the green.
Okay. That's interesting. So if you're watching, again, if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, the blue is more, I'm just put what I wrote down. The blue is the person who is like social, like you're out there, you love to be out in the front, you love to bring everybody together, create a community. That is blue. Orange is the resourceful person. They're going to find the answers because they're lazy and they don't want to take too much time doing things. The gold is the person who's very organized. Like you can open up their cupboard and you're like, okay, this person is definitely an orange because everything is in its place. And it reminds me of that movie. I can't remember the name of the movie with Julia Roberts when everything had to be exactly lined up perfectly in her cupboard. Yeah. So that's like, but that was because of the husband, not because of her, because she was, so, and then the last one is the green is the researcher. My husband is totally the researcher. He is the person who has to research it to death. And by the time he's figured it out, it's changed. Like there's a new model out there and then he has to go research that one. And so he's like the one who doesn't take action because he's too busy researching. So sometimes I'm like, just buy it. It's like I'm the one who encourages them to just
and so when I knew this, so I've been doing that work for 23 years now. And so that's the one thing that I do help people with. That's part one. Know your authentic sales style, because each one of those people will sell in a certain way too, which now goes into step number 2.
Well, now before we go there, so I want to talk about this just a little bit, because if you think about all 4 of these styles and you're in business and here we are, we're doing webinars, we're doing seminars, we're doing trainings, we're doing workshops, we're doing all these things. If you think about it, you have to have that, like if you're going to do a presentation, especially a sales presentation, that sales presentation has to have all 4 of those people. So this is why, even if you're a person, you're a person who doesn't care about charts and all this stuff, it's important for you to put charts in your sales presentation for that researcher, because they want to know, I want the facts. I want the facts.
Exactly.
I want the facts.
The researcher and even the gold personality, they want the charts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if you don't like charts, you got to put them in there.
Right. And then and then this also goes into human design. So human design actually has 4 quadrants too of personality, because the guy who developed human design actually studied Carl Jung. And Carl Jung is where personality dimensions, the color coding, came from. So this is why I love human design even more as an in-depth, because with your human design chart, it actually brings in the 4 elements of I Ching, which the I Ching wheel has actually been available for 4,000 years. So it brings in the I Ching wheel. It brings in with human design also Western astrology. So your sign, like your core 4, I call it, of who you are, your purpose. And knowing your purpose and also knowing your authentic sales style helps you sell too, because your whole purpose of who you are is in your human design. And they also bring into human design as well what they call the channels. So your channels from the Kabbalah are also brought into human design. And that gives you the flavor of what we're going to go into next, how to get yes, please.
Yeah, right now you're speaking a foreign language. Okay. Yes. So tell us first, what is human design and why should people stick around to learn about this?
Yeah. So human design is, let's put it this way. It's like taking quantum physics, and your DNA and blending it with your sign, like the day of your birth, Okay, because when you were born in astrology on a certain day and time, but that also gives you your spirit. So it's kind of like taking quantum physics and your spirit and going boom to give you a whole outlay of the flavor of why you're here on planet Earth. So it gives you your purpose. It gives you who you are supposed to speak to in your tribe. And it gives you even how you're supposed to serve your tribe. All in one big bang.
What if someone were born born prematurely? Does that affect?
It doesn't affect
doesn't
it.
matter.
It comes from the minute you took your first breath.
Oh, interesting. So no matter what, even if you were late, like you were born late, born early,
Yes.
born by C-section because they rushed in and took the baby out. So all of that stuff.
All of that is from, it's recorded on your birth chart. When you take your first breath is on your chart. So that's what the hospital would write down, your official time of birth.
Okay. Now let's talk. I want to talk about that one because a question came up. My little golden researcher just showed up in my head right now. And her question is this. What if what they wrote on the birth certificate is incorrect?
So if it's incorrect, it does change it a bit, because I was actually doing my human design that I couldn't get my mom to, because I was like, on my birth certificate, it wasn't listed. So I was asking my mom, well, what time of birth, time was I born, and things like that. And so I thought that I was 12:30 in the morning, because she was like, it's late at night, blah, blah, blah. And so I actually had people do, like pressurizing to get my correct time of birth. And then I thought, I just felt like that it was incorrect of what she was even telling me. So I went and had a live up here in Canada. It's $30 if you go into your province and then request a live birth record. And so the live birth record came back to me as I was actually born at 3:20. And it did change the flavor a bit of my human design chart, but most of the elements were still there, 100% correct.
Okay. And I do have my live birth certificate right here.
Yeah, we're going to do this live in front of you guys.
It's old. It's been around for a long time. I've been carrying, it's 1967. This thing was printed. I've been carrying it around ever since then. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. And so, okay, go on. I just wanted to ask, what is human design?
And with this element brought in, this is how now I'm able to teach people, what is your authentic sales style? And I do it with a blend of your personality, but I also now incorporate human design because it's a lot more accurate. But the charts for a lot of people are like very, oh my gosh, that looks like Greek to me. And a lot of people who've downloaded their human design chart, there's a statistic, this is for the golds and the greens. There's a statistic that 90% of people who've downloaded their human design chart have no idea how to read it. And there's so much gold in your chart. And I know that we're speaking with a lot of authors or people who have already written books or you're about to write one. But in your human design chart, believe it or not, your whole blog, your whole website, your whole book is actually in your human design chart.
Oh, interesting.
Like your title, your theme, even your chapters. And then you could write multiple books or multiple blogs or whatever, all from your human design chart, because that's your DNA.
Okay. It's interesting. I just thought about, I guess, if you're doing marketing and you don't want certain types of people in your, sphere of influence, don't put that information in there and just leave it out, because you'll attract, you'll either attract or detract people,
exactly.
From
and then that's where it comes to point number 3 is, how do you do the follow-up? So point number 1 is, who are you? By knowing your human design and your personality. Because knowing who you are and how you even are here to serve people through your purpose, through who you are and your personality, that's huge. Because if somebody tried to be Lynda and sold the way that Lynda sold, it wouldn't be authentic, because they're not Lynda and they're not Jody. And so then that goes to point number 2, which is, how do you get the yes Well, you get the yes when you actually learn the love language of your ideal client. And that gets you, and personality dimensions can do that really quickly in a sales conversation where it's like, oh, I'm an orange personality and I'm talking to Lynda, who we think is a high blue. So how I would even talk to you in a sales conversation would be different than I would talk to another orange. Because to talking to you, I would be like, oh, I love your community. And when you come in here into my community, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to show you love and compassion. And I'm going to help you every step of the way so that you can get an authentic yes from people without feeling icky. Right? And
Right.
Lynda would go, ooh, tell me more. Now, if I'm speaking to, let's say, a green personality like my husband, knowing that he's in front of me, I would be like, oh, I'm going to give you the bigger picture, the why of why you even need me. And the reason you need me as a green, by the way, is so you can speak to the other three personalities, because you have absolutely no clue. Greens are kind of usually stuck in their own little world, and they have no idea how to communicate with other people. But don't worry. I know that you have a bigger picture and vision, and we'll use your knowledge, because you're here to teach us. So we'll use your knowledge and bring it into our group, and we're going to make you a lot of money while you do it. So I would say a money conversation with greens. But you notice with you, no money.
Right.
Money's not brought into a conversation with blues. It's that by building your community, you will make money, but that's kind of the secondary thing. And so it's the same thing with your human design too, is that in your human design, your purpose is right in your design.
Okay.
And
I can't wait to see what you're talking about, because
I know, it's so exciting. And then this then goes to the number 3, which is follow-up. Follow-up with both of these, human design and personality. Follow-up is actually your marketing. And a lot of people go into business going, oh, I need my website. I need this. I need that first. But that's actually step number 3. Step number 1 is, you need to know your purpose and who you are. Step number 2 to get the yes is to know who is your tribe and how can you speak their authentic sales love language to even have the conversation. And then number 3 is actually marketing. And most people do it backwards. They think that they have to focus on that website and this and that. I'm like, I don't even have a website. And last year I made more in 3 months than I did my traditional. I worked as a law office assistant, and I made more in 3 months than I did in 2 full years.
Wow.
I don't even have a website.
Yeah, you just have to have a way to capture the payments, really. And that's, if you think about it, have conversations and they say, I'm in, then you have a way to capture payments and then have a place for them to go to connect with you, whatever that is. And I know you have a school community that we're going to be talking about in just a little bit, but yeah, that's one thing I've told so many entrepreneurs is that you don't even need money to get started. You just need to have an idea and something that people can purchase from you and have a way for them to pay you. That's it. Exactly. To get started. I mean, and you've been doing it for many, many years. So what you're doing, that works. For us, it doesn't. People have to be able to see the books and stuff, but it depends on your business, of course, what's going to work the best, what's going to be able to give that visual for people if they need it for what your business is.
And I think it also goes with that. I've been in 3 book anthologies now, having a chapter. And the unique thing is that in each chapter of the books I was in, I made money from being in those chapters. So the first book I was in, I made $12,000. The second book that I was in, I think I made because it led to a couple of people hiring me who are owners of direct sales companies. And I think I made about $40,000 from that one. And then for my third book, it's been ongoing. People just pop in. And so again, but I went into those books knowing my purpose, knowing the flavor of what my tribe actually wanted to hear from me. And so with those, I was very purposeful in even saying yes to those chapters and having my chapter where I knew people reach out to me, and then the marketing of them as well. So it can be very powerful. And by the way, it's actually in my human design. There's one little part of my human design where I have what they call the whole birthing channel, where I'm here to help entrepreneurs birth babies. Go figure, I have 6 children. But birth babies, birth books and birth businesses. That's actually incarnated in my human design for people. And so once I leaned more into that of being like, okay, world, I'm the vessel over the heart of love is what they call it. And so I'm here to show people of, are you doing what you love? And are you making money from doing what you love? That's my incarnation cross.
Okay.
And people lean into that all the time because that's what they come to me for. I don't know how to do this. I'm doing this. I'm passionate about it. I'm in XYZ business, but I don't know how to make money from it. I'm like, come to the right place because I can do it for you. So that's my passion. And yours is going to be different. So if you're open to it, let's look at your human design chart here.
Yeah, I'm totally into it. Let's see. Let's put it more larger on the screen. Okay. So what we
so
have
now
here is, what is this? This is like the thing where you input information?
Yes. So this is my human design chart here. And so now if I go to my screen, you'll still see that, right? Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Well, I see a bunch of numbers, 15.5, 10.5.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to do a new personal chart for you.
Okay.
So do you see now name come up?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to
here, Lynda. And then is it my real name or is it my name
actually,
that I use?
Your name doesn't matter because when you were born, you were unnamed.
Okay.
So whatever you want here.
Lynda Sunshine West.
And you hyphenate it?
No.
Oh, do Sunshine West. Okay. So what I need is your date of birth. So your day.
The 19th of March.
So 1903.
1963.
Oh, 1963.
And I was born at 1:27 a.m.
Okay, so that's actually easy. So 1:27 a.m. because it's a 24-hour format. And where were you born?
The United States.
USA. And what city were you born?
San Diego. I wanted to. I was told I was born in San Diego, but I wanted to double check on my birth certificate.
San Diego,
California, the top one.
This one here. Oh,
no, the top. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so let's create your chart.
Okay, that easy. That's all you need.
This is all I need. This is why this is different than when you do personality quizzes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is based on your DNA. So here is Lynda.
For some reason, I'm feeling a little nervous about knowing what my human design is. Have I been on the wrong track this whole time?
The wrong track. Well, let's just give you a little bit of information here. Lynda, you're going to love this. So when I look at your human design chart, so you see where I said that it has this whole outside realm there. So we're combining physics with a whole bunch of different other things. But here's your flavor of Lynda right here in front of us. Oh, so you are what we would call in here a generator because you have sacral energy. So a generator actually means that, because I'm also a pure generator as well. A generator means that when you have you have a bubble like this is your aura. Mm-hmm. And simply when things come into your aura, you just go, mm-hmm. Or because this energy will tell you that and will tell you correctly. So the more that you can respond to, you're made to respond to things. And also as a generator, we do one task at a time until it's done.
Oh, and I'm totally opposite of that.
It's a different energy because you're also what they have sacral energy too. So for you with this over here, which is called sacral energy, you do your task and then you get a You actually have the same. Remember where I said business, books, and babies? Mm-hmm. That's this channel right here that you also have.
Okay.
So you are actually doing correct. So that's this energy right here, this 6.6 of what they call. It's the channel of mating, and you and I both have this. And you have it right here in your core 4, which is the day that you were born, the 6. So for you, you are what they call the peacemaker. And then the 59 is openness and the one night stand.
Oh my gosh, what does that mean?
So you get to pick and choose people that you want to work with.
Oh, okay.
Stand. It's like, do I want to work with you? When you look at it in business wise, do I want to work with you? Do I not want to work with you? Maybe it's a yes, maybe it's a no. I choose. No one chooses for you. And the personality earth, the line 6, the peacemaker, which means in business, this is what people come to you. Why? Because you're very peaceful. You're a very peaceful person. I mean, I've seen that when we've been on calls and stuff together. And so this 6 is in your incarnation cross. So
people tell me things that they say, I've never told anybody else this before.
That's on
call. And there are people I never even met. Like, this is like a first call, and they're like, I can't believe I just told you all that.
There's a reason for that too. And I'll go into that a little bit more, because you and I actually if you and I work together, we would actually complete a lot of, you see where you're kind of lit up. This is how you're made. You're lit up in these areas. So if you did like yoga and they teach you your root energy, your solar energy, your plexus, like that, this is where your energy would come in. So like if you were to do yoga, you would move through this more.
Okay. Interesting.
That's how this is kind of on your design. But anyway, I just want to focus here on what your personality sun is, because your personality sun up here, this is your incarnation cross of when you were born. And you can look this up after. I will give you this full chart, but you're called the left angle cross of the plane. And because there's over 64 different incarnation crosses, I do not know them all. So what you would do after here is I would want you to YouTube that, and then just go on YouTube of what left angle cross of the plane, and then with these numbers behind it, and you'll get a lot of yumminess from that. But basically, the left angle cross of the plane is you are here as the gate. Like, people come to you because they're in crisis. Just exactly what you said. Complete strangers will tell me stuff. It's because on your personality sun, the darkening of light and justice. And so you are literally here to help people see the light when they're in the gate of, when they're in crisis. And you will also be the hand of justice, sort of. Like you fight for the underdog. You fight for the people who they don't know where to go to when they need help. They're drawn to you. It's your personality sun.
Interesting.
And so what we have on here on our charts is we have what's called the design side. And this is also your core 4 here, where it's purple. This is your incarnation cross, is made up of these 4 quadrants. And so the design side is what is unconscious in us. And by the way, you actually have the same 2 as me. Kind of weird, but that's kind of cool. Okay. So I also have gate 15 on my design side, which is modesty, the gate of this extremes and influence. So for you, it means that the behavior, which there's proper balance between the extremes. And so whenever you feel things aren't just working out well, or you feel like your mind's getting ahead of you, because we should actually use our bodies to tell us. And so for you, you can literally go into yourself, just kind of asking yourself questions. Okay, that was really extreme. What just happened there? And then if you quietly meditate or you write out those things, these answers will come to you, because you also have the voice of influence with this gate. And it's very cool. And I also have the same one. And then you also have in your design number 10, which is the gate of behavior of self, the hermit. So you like the hermit, and it's brought into you that line too. And you're very successful being a hermit, but you need to physically, for you, and I don't know if you relate to this or not, but physically, sometimes you have to be like, I need to get out there and just do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could stay in a book all day.
Like, COVID was great for me. Because I didn't have to go outside. I didn't have to go talk to people, So,
Yeah. And
and
it's
I
a
found that I work really well by myself. I'm more structured when I'm by myself, because if I'm in a work environment with other people, I just want to go
yeah.
socialize. So,
Exactly. And you
yeah.
see that that's all in the purple here, that your incarnation crosses. People come to you in crisis. However, you need to self yourself and regulate yourself before you can handle those crises. So this is where we call like a yin and yang right here on your cross. And so when your left angle cross of the plane, so you kind of want to think of it even as like a physical plane, right? Because people come to you and the plane tips, and then you're here to make it more even.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the left angle cross of the plane that I'm sure that if you kind of read up on that's the information that you would get from it.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then if we look at my cross, just to explain a little bit different here. And by the way, you are here to bring satisfaction to your daily self. So each task you do, as long as it brings you satisfaction, you're going to go, mm-hmm. Like you'll physically make sounds. And when you're not in satisfaction, you are frustrated, because that's what generators are. And generators, by the way, just like I said with personality, that there's, the different types, 70% of the population are generators. So we're here to respond to the other three types when it comes to human design. And you're also with the 6-2 profile, which means that you're kind of, if you look at a house, so there's a house that goes up like this. So a 6, you sit on top and you're kind of, everything. You're a very knowledgeable person. And you actually have this knowledge that people come to because you can see it all. So and it's great that you do books and publishing, because you actually see the whole beginning of the system and you see the whole ending, the outcome. You see that. It's in spades for you. And the 2, which is the hermit, that's where that hermit comes in. The 2 does it in a mythological, like you're natural at it, but you do it in a very natural, methodical thing. So what's natural to you is not natural to someone else.
Yeah, I've had to realize that, so that I can have conversations that make sense, Yeah.
And so I'll go here onto my chart so people can see a little bit of the difference of them. But this is what I mean on your chart. Like right here, the purple would be like the title of your books. The red here, which is totally different, would be the theme of your books. And then right here, according to your design, each one of these blue areas would be chapters.
Oh, interesting.
It's very interesting.
Throughout the years, I've had a lot of shifts and changes in life, like we all do. And just recently I started asking, like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I on this planet? What am I here to do? And I was about age 51 when I started asking that question. And that led me to the books, right? All of that, like that questioning led me to the books. And it was when I hit the books that I realized that this is the thing. This is why I'm here, is to help other people to share their stories. Because like you said, I do see the beginning and the end, and I can help them, guide them from the beginning to the end to get the result that they want. I do see the big picture, but then I also get down into the details, like how do you do that? And how do you make that happen? And so there's nothing like, for me, there's nothing quite like being able to pull a story out of somebody and helping them to share that with the world. So this is validating.
It's like the personality stuff that we've all taken, Myers-Briggs, the test of learning your colors and what color are you. And I feel like a lot of people do that because we want to know more about ourselves, right? As creatures, of course, we want to know who we are and what our purpose is here. But what I love with human design is that once you go kind of deeper into learning human design, where the design side is your unconscious, this is the side of, and I like to explain it this way. My husband was adopted, okay? Because I'm a storyteller. And by the way, it's in my chart. and in your chart, people tell you their stories. Okay, that's why if I can open this up here, there's this gate that you have, that the gate 13. The gate 13 is where people tell you the stories. That's right here. So if we open that up, the savior, the people tell you the stories. Oh, no, I didn't. Let me just see if I can make this smaller. Okay, I can't. Don't worry about it. But people tell you their stories, complete strangers. And I have the gate above that, the 33, where people tell me their stories, but I'm meant to story tell it to the world.
Oh, interesting.
So when you and I come together, it's no coincidence that because I have that gate 33 and you have the 13, where we could literally finish each other's conversation, because you have the secrets to tell and I have the voice to tell it. And people come to you with their secrets, but you're able then to get their secrets. Like, people probably come to you all the time of, I'm the best kept secret in the world. Can you help me tell my story?
Right.
And you're like, yes, I can, because you're here to help people like me tell the story, tell my story. And so that's why when you kind of learn a little bit more of this, it becomes more like, that's who you're here to help. You're here to help people who have the stories. And so for me, I have that opposite gate. So this is where it comes into, who is your tribe? How do you speak to them? What's their authentic voice? And so because you had that 33, I have the opposite to it. So you had the 1 and I had the opposite, which is 33, which is the gate of privacy, the attitude to turn things into victory. But this is a gate where people, your gate tells me their secrets, and I'm like, oh, and I can keep the secrets, right? So I tell the story in a way that I use a lot of examples of people, but I tell the story in the way that their secrets are told, but I don't necessarily have to say who the person was, right? And that's in mine. And so for me, I'm what's called and there's the right angle vessel of love. So again, now knowing that my incarnation cross is really about, I am here to help people. Are you doing what you love? And do you love what you're doing? And are you making money from it?
Well, they call that the Ikigai, right? You do it. You love what you're doing. You're damn good at it. You know what you're doing, and you can make money at it. That's like the Ikigai.
Exactly. That's why. And so for my personality sun up here, that's what people come to me for. Good fortune that may result from serendipity that requires effort and dedication, a practical approach to fortune. So that's where the love of abundance. And I do it in such a way that people aren't offended by me talking about it.
Right.
At all. So when I talk about love and that your business should be, orgasmic, really, people lean into that. Oh yeah. I want to have such love for my business that I'm getting up every day, because you're getting that rush of adrenaline. And I can speak about that because, again, you and I also have the 59, the gate of birthing. So you can actually use that language too, where we birth babies, books, and businesses, because that's the 59. And we can literally actually use that language for people. Are you doing what you love? And it should be in such a way that if anybody talked to us about sex or that birthing process, you and I would be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like we would just be there, just right into the conversation, right? Right into it. And it's the same thing when it comes to then your business. So both you and I can speak to people about, are you birthing your business in such a way that you love it, right? And
that's fascinating.
People lean into it.
Well, it's awesome because I think from what I'm understanding here and hearing is that with the human design, like we might not we might not believe everything that's in our human design, but a lot of that's because conditioning, beliefs that we've adopted from people in our past and
Yes.
that we've carried into our present. And so by looking at this human design, it can help us to maybe, if we have an open mind, you have to have an open
Yes.
mind, which I know open was one of the things you mentioned, like that blue person, right? And
Yes.
so if you have that open mind and you're willing to learn about yourself and learning to step into who you really, truly, truly are, this
Yeah.
is what life is. To me, this is what one of the things that life is all about, is us stepping into who we are, who we really are meant to be, and living that role for the rest of our lives, because this is how we shine. This is how we're able to succeed in whatever it is we want to succeed in life. We have to really tap into that, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of us are living the lives that we were told we needed to live, especially in some cultures where they're like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Like family directs you on where to go. But when you get to a certain place in your life and you're starting to question, like, why am I here? What is my purpose? What is this
Exactly.
all about?
What's
For
my
me, that was 51.
What's my purpose? Who am I here to serve? What's the flavor of my tribe? And I think for myself, and you can stop screen sharing if you want. Just
I did.
Oh, perfect. I think at that point too, this is where I kind of use the analogy of my husband. So my husband was adopted, and he is Native. So his biological parents are full Chilcotin Native and Austrian. And he was adopted by white French Canadians, who's one of them didn't even speak English. So this is how I kind of use it. This is what your design is like. So since he was adopted, his design, the red on your chart, is your DNA. It's who you be. Okay. And then the personality side, the black, is like his adoptive parents, how he was raised and influenced. Exactly what you were just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so true to even you being a 6'2" that you saw this right away.
Okay.
Sixes see it. You see the bigger picture of why this would be useful for people. And I am not. I'm what they call a 3-5. So I'm an innovative leader. And I've been designed to the school of hard knocks. Learn it, and then teach it. That's who I am. And so teaching this is as fun and amazing for me. And that's how I kind of look at human design, is like my adopted husband. So he had his DNA, and then he was influenced by others. But it's the blending of the two who makes him who he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I went, had a lot of challenges growing up, abusive environment and all that stuff. And I carried all of that stuff that I learned back then, I know, just a lot that I learned about life in general. But that really made me like sink into myself, and that's not a community person. I was so closed chest and didn't want to, reach out to people and what have you. But the reality is that I need to be in community. This is where I thrive. I totally, I'll share like one quick story is like when COVID hit. Prior to that, I had been running a women's mastermind. We met once a month in person, and it was a 7-hour day once a month. And it was so much fun. I loved it, bringing the ladies together. And then when COVID hit, my session was scheduled for the following Saturday, and everything shut down. And so I was like, you know what? We're going to just cancel. And then I saw some friends hosting some Zoom meetups.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'll do that. And so it was about 2 weeks into COVID, and I reached out to some ladies and I said, hey, I'm going to host this, our mastermind. We're going to do it on Zoom instead. And so the ladies started showing up. There were 40 ladies that showed up that day. And as they started coming into the Zoom room, immediately I went from a place of feeling like self-doubt and all this stuff to boom, here I am. It was instant. I was like, oh my gosh, I was moving into a state of depression.
Right.
Because I wasn't getting that.
And I can also tell you, just even from your chart, because you have that sacral energy to the one part,
mm-hmm.
and then you're also lit up in your G center. So for you, you're complete when other people, and this is why we're supposed to do business with people. We are, right? You don't have a business without the other.
Right.
And so for you, unknowingly, when you did that, you lit up all those other centers on your chart because the connections were there. And I'm the same way. I don't have, and you are too, I don't have the head lit up. I don't have the ajna lit up. I don't have the throat lit up. But when I'm in the other's presence, the words naturally come. Yeah. And you're the same way, because we both are very similar in that way. Until you're with the other person, then your six, the all-knowing genius, comes out. You know the words to say. And that's why I love with human design is that we can take all the tests that we want. And I was doing, personality for 23 years. And it is nice to use that test to speak other people's language quickly when you're first meeting them. But if you want a really deeper understanding of exactly who you're here to serve and who is your tribe, how to speak your tribe's love language, and how to market to them so that it's fun for you every day, human design is actually the bigger, deeper checklist.
And I totally get that because of all the different personality tests I've taken. I've taken a lot of them because I just love learning all this stuff. Those different personality tests, the answers I give are the answers that I think are the answers that are the correct answers, not for what I'm trying to get the test right, but let me dive deep inside of myself and see what I really feel, and then I give the answer to what I'm feeling in the moment. Yeah. It's not like, so it's very interesting. Well, I know that we're short on time, but you do have a program. It's called, oops, I spelled it wrong here. Let me do it right here. It's called Crowned for Success, and you have a school community. So right. Why don't you talk to us about Crowned for Success, what that is and what we get by joining?
So Crowned for Success is a community where I want people, to read their charts, to learn their charts. For human design, and we will throw in personality as well. But this is more a deeper understanding of how can you take what you already have in your business, find your true purpose, find the flavor of your tribe. And so that when you're doing this, where you can get the more yes pleases for the conversions, which is what we all want. We want more people being attracted to us. It's kind of like I said, that quantum physics, attraction marketing on steroids is really what the whole program is. And so it's $333 a month. And in that, you'll get human design training, all about your design, the red, the who you be. And then you'll get each month, you'll get monthly workshops, which are around 3 hours. And in those monthly workshops, you'll get a whole flavor of your business. And we are having upcoming, I think it's for May, is scheduled actually an author's workshop. So we'll for 3 hours, we're going to go fully over your chart of if you have a book or if you're looking to do a book. Kind of ironic that we're coming up into that, which is really great. And in that 3 hours, we'll pull up charts of those who are there, and I'll go through it thoroughly with people, how you design your title, your theme, and everything in there. And then you can use that, whether if you're not doing a book, but maybe you already have a book and you're looking for marketing. That's all in that too.
Okay, so I want to just make a comment that this is May 2025, and what she's referring to. If you're watching the replay and you're watching it after May 2025, would that be available as a replay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So all of these will be available as replays. And every month we're going to have a different flavor brought in. But yeah, it'll be available as a replay and kind of ongoing, because the whole business, books, and babies, if you're ready to birth something, is what I'll be giving the flavor for the whole year. So you'll get a lot of information each month on the flavor of your business and who you're supposed to market to, your tribe, all that great stuff. Because that's what people really want to know. It's like, who am I here to serve? And then how can I serve them in the flavor that they're going, yes.
Yeah, we want those yes conversion. So go to school, it's SKOOL.com, crowned for success. That's SKOOL.com/crowned for success. Check it out. See what it's all about. It is a school community. So if you're not in school yet, and this is a great opportunity for you to learn what it's all about, because when I first heard of it, I was like, oh, ridiculous. And then I got in there and I'm like, oh my God, the communities are they're better. There's something different. There's something different. There's a different energy over on school than on Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram and all these different places. So if you're looking for a different vibe, I definitely recommend you looking at school to see what other communities are out there, because there's a bunch of them to choose from. So again, go to school, SKOOL.com/crowned for success. Jody, I want to thank you for being here, for sharing this information. It's been fascinating. So what I got from this, and I'll share my overall big picture, what I got from this is the importance of understanding your human design will help you to get in front of not only the right people, but to understand how to better talk to them, how to better have those conversations that will help them to see, yes, this is the person I need to work with. This is the person that I want to work with. And so that's what I see the value of knowing this. Because as you were talking today, sharing just the couple things about me, I'm like, okay, I totally see how I can use that when I get onto sales conversations, which is what this is all about. How do you get on those sales conversations and turn them into fun? Turn it into something that you're really enjoying. For me, fun is important because I'm a blue. And as a blue, I have this saying. I say, if I ain't having fun, I ain't doing it. Like literally, I ain't having fun, I ain't doing it. And so that's a very important piece of my life. And so this human design will help you to not only understand how you operate, but understand how you operate with other people and how you attract those people to your life that you want to have and that you can serve on this planet as a better person, a better human being, doing the things that you are meant to do. Imagine yourself living the life that you're actually meant to live. You will be lit up all the time. Well, maybe not when you're sleeping, but you'll be lit up because you'll be doing the things you're here and you're meant to do. So Jody, last words for our viewers today?
Yeah, I think the last words are just look into it. It's a checklist. And even for myself, I called myself the heart-centered entrepreneur for about 6 years before I even learned my human design, which is the vessel of love. And I'm like, oh, check mark. Like it's just very self-validating to kind of know that what you've been learning is correct for you. And then who are you supposed to be teaching will also be correct for you.
I love that. Yeah, it's the checklist. Go through the I love checklists too, by the way. I'm an organizer. So so go through that checklist. Everybody, thank you so much for being here, for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you watched, please introduce other people to this. They can go to actiontakerspublishing.com/webinars to watch this replay. And let's just have some fun. Get out there, live the life you're meant to live, and have a great time. Thanks, Jody, so much. And we'll see you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.